Let's map out some support resistance the way we like to do it, and I'll tell you why we like to do it right after this. The reason why we map out support resistance like this, we're going to save the very fine details for another video. This video is going to be targeted for those people who might not have a good way of doing it themselves already or might be confused as they're doing it. We're also going to wrap some rules around support resistance drawing so it becomes less subjective. Many people draw in support resistance and get confused by different time frames or where it starts and where it ends. We're going to go over all of that today. So let's start out by breaking it down to 3 simple rules. Rule number 1 is going to be the order of the touches. So support resistance can be in a channel or a range, but each channel or range must have 3 reversals or touches against support resistance. So for example, this would be defining a start of a range because we have 3 touches, and we will look for the 4th one to mark in where we would be looking for a reversal. This chart is showing what we prefer to see, which is going to be 3 touches on opposite sides. What is not as favorable is going to be if we have support resistance reversals or touches on the same side like this. Number 2, support resistance can start at any point on the chart and it ends whenever that level is broken. So where it starts and where it ends will be the overall idea of the range or the channel. Rule number 3, support and resistance can and will appear on different levels of different time frames. So for those of you who are trading patterns, support resistance levels can be very interesting. So marking them in at the beginning of the week will help you figure out the more interesting areas for the rest of the week. So let's load up some charts and we'll apply these 3 rules so you kind of get a hang of things. The first chart is our AUDCAD pair, and we're going to look at this chart first looking at major highs or lows that we see. Okay, if we have any sort of a channel or range, we'll want to draw that in. We can start by just identifying them, looking for 3 touches inside of a range, for example. So this would be 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to draw a little blue box around the idea of where support or resistance would start. The point of that is that we find an interesting spot where we hit the 4th high or low since the first 3 points have already been used for identification. We're going to start doing the same thing to our USDCAD chart now. How I'm drawing these levels is I start from the furthest point out and I go to where most of the candlesticks touch. Okay, this is going to be our support or resistance zone. Same with resistance. We're going to start at the highest point and we're going to go down to where most of the candlesticks touch. So this is what our support resistance zones are going to be, okay? Because support resistance is not just one point on your chart. It's not the highest high, it's not the lowest low. It's going to be an area, okay? And it's really important to know that. In this example, the euro, I don't have obvious support resistance because my highs and lows seem to be at very different levels. I have 2 choices here. Choice number 1 is I can move on to a different chart. Choice number 2 is I can move up or down the time frame until I find something that is obvious. So don't force it. So if you go through these charts at the beginning of the week, feel free to use these pointers. If you want to subscribe, what we'll do is we'll put out some videos where you can see these levels for a lot of the pairs, and you can use those levels for the week ahead, or you can map in your own using the techniques that you learned here. Now don't forget, if you have not gotten our 2 free indicators, we have a news indicator that maps in news events directly on your charts. And we also have a Priceline indicator that will map in all your bid and ask prices horizontally across your charts. All of these are free and links are there for you below. Would love it if you guys could give this video a nice big thumbs up if you even learned one useful fact, and also don't forget to subscribe and have a great rest of your day.